So Wolves fans, the Vitor Pereira pre-Crystal Palace FA Cup winners Crystal Palace press conference have just taken place over at Compton, and I actually think, because there's so many games at the weekend and there's not many on, there's loads of press there that normally aren't there, so they must have thought, oh, we've got to have something to do, we'll go down to Compton and speak to Vitor Pereira. Vitor Pereira nominated, of course, for Premier League Manager of the season. And along with team news, and we've got some injury news for you coming up as well in this, plus a question. They opened up with asking him about his nomination, and he said, he was a bit surprised, incredibly proud for the work that him, his team, the players, the club and the fans have done. He said it's teamwork, it's not just him, and he's incredibly proud. The reporter also referenced in a previous press conference, he said he's trying to paint a picture, and she asked, is that picture complete, Vitor? And he said, no, it's a work in progress. I'm always trying to improve the picture. He was then asked what he's most proud of this season, because obviously he came in a tricky situation, and he basically said it's changing the situation of where they were. Came in obviously in a situation where Wolves were in fear of relegation, and here we are with 4 or 5 games to go. Premier League survival has been achieved, and proud of that. Asked about some team news and injury news with regards to the squad, he said there's a couple of players. Tommy Doyle has got a bit of an injury, and Sam Johnson is still trying to recover. He said they're both not serious injuries, more like niggles, but I think that suggests that both won't be involved in the squad again against Palace. He was then asked, is it a positive or a negative playing Palace after they've just won the FA Cup? He basically said, look, Selhurst Park are going to be well up for it, they're going to be completely on a high. He said, but ultimately we just focus on ourselves and our identity, and doing our job to try and get the 3 points. He was asked if he watched the FA Cup. He said, of course. Referenced Crystal Palace. He said they won it and they deserved it. He said it is good for football. It's a good when a team that is looked at as a smaller team beats what is looked at as a bigger team, and it's very, very good for football. You all know my views on this. Seeing Palace, their fans, how they enjoyed that. That's what we want for our club, isn't it? That's what I want for Wolves. That's what my dad wants. We've got a dream. Maybe under this manager things like that can happen. He went on to say that this is the kind of team that we need to be. He said our title this year was to transform our situation from where we were. Another question that he was asked by the press is how do you can keep the motivation and finish strong? He said it's not easy because obviously we're survived, we're not playing for Europe, we're not trying to stay up, but of course Wolves do have a lot to play for in terms of monetary positions. If they were to win against Palace, it's worth about 9.3 million, because the lowest Wolves can finish at the moment is 17th. The highest that we can finish is potentially 13th, and it's around about 9.3 million in prize money from where we are at the moment. So I would say it's quite an important thing, and I'm sure we'll have them well motivated. He was kind of asked about the future, and he said he referenced throughout the press conference the need for us to be more consistent next year, the need for us to build and continue to working to build a better team. And he did reference the summer window. He was asked if by one of the reporters whether he wanted the season to continue because of the recent form, or to end because he needs a break. He says, I need a break. He says, you remember I was working hard in Saudi Arabia, I came here, I do need a break. However, there is a lot of work that I need to do with the club to make sure we get the tools that we need to do the job next year, the players that we need to do the job. Again, referencing and dropping hints that Wolves have got to do a lot of work and getting this summer transfer right to be able to be more consistent, move up the league and compete for things next season. Once again, he was asked about Matheus Cunha. Of course, Fabrizio's dropped another one saying that it's very, very close now, the move for Cunha to Man United. Personally, I don't really get it, you know. I mean, they could be finishing 16th or 17th, but of course they could get Champions League. But he just said, look, it's no different. He's working with a smile on his face. He's working as my player. Until then, there is no change. He was also asked about Pablo Sarabia and Nelson Semedo, who are out of contract. He said, again, we have to be patient. He says, Nelson knows full well that I want him to be part of the team for next year. And that's something that we're aiming to achieve. But we have to wait on the player. And as for Pablo Sarabia, he says, I like Pablo. He's a very good lad. He was then asked about Oliver Glasner because when he was manager of Fenerbahce, they played each other in the Champions League when Glasner was taking charge of Eintracht Frankfurt, and both games were drawn 1-1 and 2-2. He did mention on the 1-1 that they had a penalty in the last minute, Fenerbahce, and they missed it. The next question was on about Brighton. Interestingly, he said, from the first minute I felt we were missing something, and the word he used was fire. Fire. And I think that's a fair comment. Also tactical. He says was not like us, how we wanted to play. And I think that's good that he recognises that. He's a top coach. He says all the right things. He was then asked if he got a message for the fans, for the away fans. He says, yes, thank you for all their support. Without them, we could not have transformed where we are and be able to look forward to the future. So yeah, quite a long press conference today. As I say, I felt like some of the reporters didn't have nowhere else to be, so they came down to Wolves. But lots of interesting questions. Started with a smile on his face. Probably, I don't felt he was quite as upbeat as he has been, especially when he was asked about the motivation. He said it's difficult because we're not playing for anything as such, but to me, we're playing for like a lot of money. I'm sure they'll be focused up for it. I think it'll be a very interesting game against Palace, and what side Palace will put out. He asked if Glasner would make changes. He says, I don't know, maybe. Or maybe I will. That's just the way it is. Literally, by this time next week, it'll all be over, won't it? It'll all be over, the Premier League, and we'll know that we'll be in the Premier League next season. But the consistent references to next season were important. He knows there's work to be done. The club know there's work to be done. There's going to be evolution, not revolution, but they've got to get this summer window right. And we'll hopefully have a performance against Palace. Then we can look forward to Brentford. Leave your thoughts on all of that in the comment section below. If you know where I am in the world right now, let me know in the comments as well. Hit that like button. And if you're brand new and you enjoy your Wolves news, you want news, opinions, rumours, and all of everything in between, hit the subscribe button here on Always Wolves Fan TV. Until the next one, Always Wolves.